Peace and welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Folks, we got a great show for you. Let's talk about some of the latest developments in this whole case and situation with President Trump, former President Donald Trump, and retrieving those highly classified documents. Wall Street Journal and other publications have reported not just that these documents are highly classified, but they are certainly a threat to national security if they get into the wrong hands. We'll talk about that. Also, let's talk about the right for privacy, how Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, has decided to take the LA County Sheriff's Department to court because of them sharing pictures, graphic photos of what happened to her husband, her daughter, and those 7 other individuals in that horrific helicopter crash. We'll break down the latest. Also, let's talk about balance, walking the balance between motherhood versus career. Serena Williams has announced this week that she is walking away from tennis because she wanted to dedicate more time for her family. And this once again has put the rights of women to make that decision to the forefront. I'll be checking in with Culture Crew member Shaquia McKenzie to give her take on how to walk that balance in the midst of so many different changes. And then later, can we talk about when words matter? How the state of New York has decided to change the use of the word inmate to incarcerated person. My question is, will it make a difference? We'll have that and a whole lot more, so stay with us. That's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Folks, welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. I'm so happy that you are able to join us this afternoon. Oh my goodness, happy Friday. And what a Friday it is after such an eventful week in politics and in other places across the country. But happy Friday. Thank you so much for checking in and tuning in today. We have a lot of great conversations. But before we get to the conversations, I got to let you know, folks, we are on a drive to get your support. So make sure that you check us out at blackstarnetwork.com to support what we're doing here at Black Media like no other, where we're providing unfiltered, unapologetic commentary, news, information, and insight to shape your thinking about what's really important. And then, of course, as we've been doing here, to state our case that we can tell our own story. So just continue to show your support for blackstarnetwork.com. Just go to our website, and financially you can give through all of those venues of Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. And of course, we thank you for your support. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and check a big shout out to my online culture crew that's ready to jump into the conversations that we have lined up for you. The first one, of course, is going to be about former President Donald Trump. Yes, folks, we got to talk about this because the big development that started throughout the earlier this week, and of course, yesterday, Attorney General Merrick Garland has gone on record to say that he wants to unseal the warrants the warrants to retrieve the documents, because he wanted the American people to know what the Department of Justice, what the FBI was looking for. And guess what? It has come out, folks, that they were looking for some very highly classified documents relating to issue of national security. And so the Wall Street Journal has reported that 11 documents, big, highly classified documents relating to nuclear weapons, has been retrieved, were part of the search in this whole situation, folks. And when you're talking about nuclear weapons, we know what's going on right now with Russia. We know what's going on with Ukraine. But having those documents in the former president's residence, where we don't know who may have access to them, is certainly a case of national security. Look, we're gonna have that conversation and so much more. We'll be checking back in. So stay with us. It's the culture here on the Black Star Network. Woo!
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Farajii Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We were just talking a little bit about the big development in the case of former President Donald Trump, how the former president has his residence, of course, we know has been searched. And as a result of that search, Attorney General Merrick Garland decided to put it out there yesterday that he would authorize for the unsealing of the search warrant to let people know what exactly was being searched for in the former president's home. Now, as has been reported by the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and other publications, a lot of these documents that they were looking for were deemed to be highly classified documents. Those documents that included nuclear weapons. Take a look at here, folks. Folks are just asking, looking at it across the country. USA Today reported this. Not only will the fact that the search led to this, but the president himself has said that he would not oppose the release of the documents and that he's going to take it a step further by encouraging the immediate release of those documents. Now, according to the New York Times, the warrant shows the criminal status invoked related to obstruction and espionage because of the secrets and because of the nuclear information that was contained in those documents. 11 documents, folks, relating to nuclear weapons, and of course, the nuclear capability of the United States of America. We had a very extensive conversation with Brother Michael in Hopetep yesterday, talking about this, but we wanted to take just a few moments of today's show to bring you up to speed on the latest and to get our thoughts from our culture crew member, Shaquaya McKenzie, to get her thoughts on what we're seeing as this thing continues to unfold, where it looked like it might be one thing because the National Archives asked for some documents to be retrieved. And now, because of the nature of what these documents contain, it may take this whole situation to a whole new level. Do we got Shaquaya joining us in a few moments? All right, let's make sure we get her in. But I want to go to you folks and hear what your thoughts are about this as we just kind of shared this information. And I'm sure that some of you may have heard about this even late last night, that there were nuclear documents that were being retrieved in here. All right, let's bring Shaquaya in. Shaquaya, it's always good to hear from you, sis. Let's bring her in when you get a chance.
Great to be
Shaquaya,
here.
how are you?
I'm good. I am so good.
Good to see you again. Always glad to talk to you.
How are you, bro?
I'm good, sis. I'm good. All right, let's talk a little bit about this situation with President Trump. And folks, post your comments as we get to what you have to say as well. But Shaquaya, this is a crazy, crazy situation to say the least. But what's your take on everything that has happened over the past 24 to 48 hours?
I love a full circle. It's one of the best, I'm, by trade, I'm an educator. I'm English graduate. I love good stories. And this is such a good story.
Right. Big.
The president the former president, that is, President Trump, has trampled over every obvious barrier in terms of what has been the only cusp of what people have tried to hold him accountable to. He got acquitted twice, impeached twice, and acquitted twice. I mean, he just runs through justice nothing can touch him, right? But you could love a good story with justice really at the footnote of it, because what we see here is that the National Archives gave Trump and his team a chance to give these documents up a long time ago, and he held on to them. And so now the FBI had to come knocking. Isn't that crazy that you thought you were so bullish that you could literally do everything you want? But at the time now that we're living in, for Merrick Garland to have given approval, apparently Joe Biden didn't know. We'll find out if that's really true or not. Either way, they're finally doing something about this man running rampant. I can absolutely believe he had nuclear codes. He already he already had an insurrection. So for them to finally, do something on the face of justice and really pursue what, what is obviously behest at Trump's direction, which is really just causing further division in his country and really inciting what is near a civil war. Yeah. Let's do something about that. I love this story because it hopefully means that America can get something right. Our government can have people believe in the fact that it works, So that's my goal. That's my goal.
Here's my take on this situation, Shaquaya, and you tell me if I'm wrong in thinking this. I mean, you just mentioned that. I mean, so much this president has gone through, and at the end of the day, he's still not being held fully accountable for it. Even though people know
running his crib, but he still is not. There are no charges against him. I mean, right. New York has charges against him. He has a case in Georgia. There are different prongs of the justice system trying to get in to Trump and hold him accountable to the things he's done.
Right.
But I think this one is the closest to, in terms of his estate being searched and raided. And now, the Justice Department punting him the opportunity to be transparent about what's happening, right? Absent objection to the president. Let's unseal these search warrants and let's really let the public know what's going on, right? So I just really think, though, all jokes aside, this is sad. It's sad for America that a former president's house has to be raided, right?
So that's and I think to keep this situation in that space is the important part for us to remember, that it's sad that a former president is in this situation right now. Here's the other part about it. Like, I feel like this might be like the Al Capone moment, maybe. Who don't know? Who knows with this guy and the way and how the Republicans would protect him. You know, Al Capone did every other thing you believe under the sun, but then it was like him not following, you know, the tax situation with the IRS really got him, right?
It's too brazen.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Trump did all this other stuff, but then he just carried some boxes out of the White House, and they just happen to have nuclear secrets and nuclear information. Like, if
these documents for over a year,
right,
they gave him his I can imagine the government's been knocking on his door, like, "Hey, bro, you got to bring to even for him to have had them this long."
We don't want to make this a circus, but you know, it could be a circus. Merrick Garland said this yesterday. He said we have strong reason to believe, and y'all, if y'all work in the federal government, y'all know what I mean. That if the government says they have probable cause or they feel like they have strong reason to believe that you did something, most of the time, I mean, they're not going to bring all the guns on you.
We know the matter of obstruction is obstructing to rightfully return these documents into the you know, in the cusp of the government. Who's leading the government right now? You left, bruh. You was voted out the job. You can't take the records with you, right? That's one thing. But the espionage, we know that Trump has friendlied up to many autocratic leaders around this world.
That's the other part.
And I'm not throwing out, I really am not throwing out conspiracy theories. I'm very far from a conspiracy theorist. I'm a common sensist, and we know that Trump has, you know, relationships and affinities with autocratic leaders around this world who very much so don't have America's best interest at heart. And he is currently in a position of, as he pursued the presidency, as he maintained his presidency, he looks to uproot and divide America in order. The contention is really for the purpose of his leadership, right? As are all dictators and autocrats. And so for him to have the nuclear codes, the espionage implies that there is perhaps some information sharing that has happened or occurred and has been investigated and is not being discussed openly. But what else is espionage, right?
The espionage is about the sharing of information. Espionage is about plotting against your own country. You know what I'm saying? Using foreign resources for your personal gain, for your political gain, right? At the expense of the interests of your own country, of your home country. You know what I'm saying? And then I think that's an excellent point that you bring up, is the fact that he has such friendly relations, we know, with Russia. He has friendly relations with some folks in the Middle East. You know what I mean? I'm sure he has friendly relations with people in China. People that are not on America's friend list right now, right? So it's like this guy has to do so much. He has to push the boundaries so far. And the sad part about it, the very sad part about it, is that we as the American people, we're being dragged through this when probably a huge number of us have already said, you need to lock this guy up. He's already a liability to the White House. Now he's a huge liability to the safety of our country. So it's almost like, and look, check it out, Shaquem. One of our loyal watchers, my man, Brother King Lee, he posted it in our comments, folks, and y'all share your thoughts. He said, very simply, I'm tired of talking about Trump. All he wants is attention. And King, I get it. I trust and believe I get it. We on this side, though, we do have to talk about it because these are the latest developments in this particular storyline. But I do understand, because we've already said at the very beginning, Shaquaya, this guy, I'm telling you, don't keep putting your money and resources and attention on this guy, because it's not going to be pretty. And look how this situation is unfolding as we speak.
But I must say, more than attention, Trump wants power. You know, that's why we do have to pay attention to him. He wants power absolute power. And he's willing to do anything, as you said, drag the American people into it, cause divisiveness. This has been his plan the entire time. There's a interview of him in 1996 saying in People magazine, if I ever wanted to run for president, I'd do it as a Republican because those people are stupid. And look what he's done to that party. And I do feel bad because they're not all stupid, but he's created such a propaganda supercharged cultic culture in the Republican Party that there is damn near nothing that the people who believe in him won't do. And we have to pay attention to that because they're 30-40% of this country. And let's be clear, we've already had several incidents related to the direct propaganda fueled beliefs and hate that are born out of that impact us. We have the mass shootings, we have Charlottesville, we have the things, right? And now we see and know that he has nuclear codes. So we have to pay attention. Like he wants attention and he's going to get it if he keep acting crazy. I think it's rightfully deserved. But aside, from us, as you said, Farajii, talking about the resources that have been put into in a vain sense, right? And holding Trump accountable and confronting the injustices that have been had under his administration from him directly, there is still a void of fully holding him accountable. And if the Biden administration, I can't even say it because I think rightfully so, they are separated by pursuit, by de jure cause. Like this is about the Justice Department pursuing what is wrong, right? I'm not even going to say the Biden administration, but in main America, I think in like mainstream America, if the Justice Department was to indict, charge, and actually convict Trump of obstruction, espionage, and/or whatever is born out of this investigation, it might be associated with the Biden administration's, the Biden administration. Well, aside though, but what is reality? And what is reality? If they charge him, this is a full circle. Because he has done so much to destroy this country, there needs to be something or somebody that stops this type of leader in our history, or it's going to continue. Right?
No, here's my thinking, and this is how I always thinking. This is what I always thought. Trump is one man. He brings an idea. He represents an idea. He represents a philosophy. Mm-hmm. And now, at the end of the day, you cut the head off of this guy, another person is going to come into his stead, right? Yeah. So I get that part though, in terms of the Justice Department, the Biden administration. I get why they might be like, all right, we have to do this with great sensitivity because you do have 40% of the American people who are supporters of this ideology and of this man. So you don't want to, I understand that the conundrum, like you don't want to isolate them because then if you go hard on him, they're going to respond. Not necessarily, they may respond in violence because they're unpredictable. They may respond in violence. They may respond in terms of the election. They may in at the voters box, the ballot box. They may respond in a whole different way. So I get that part. But here's the thing. Last time I checked, the United States of America always promoted itself as not being afraid. You can go into other people's country, you can bomb the hell out of their country, you can take out their leaders, and you don't think about the consequences. You mean to tell me that you can't deal with an internal threat? You mean to tell me that you don't have the testicular fortitude to deal with this situation or the capacity? Or, I mean, come on. Then to check this out, if they don't deal with it, then what are you saying to the citizens here, us, and to the rest of the world? You're saying that lawlessness, that constitutional non-compliance, all of that stuff is acceptable. So that's the place they're in.
So much has already been pacified and accepted. And that's why the buck has to stop somewhere. I think the Justice Department is doing, the due process is occurring with, a very intentionally strategic and compliant manner to have done this. I'm sure it took some time to even contemplate if they were even going to, issue or pursue and have issued search warrants for his estate. This is huge, right? To raid Mar-a-Lago, this is huge.
Very big, right? Very big.
So I'm in complete agreement with you that I think it is important. I think they have, in terms of the Justice Department, even with, there was kind of some preface with this, with Merrick Garland having that interview with Lester Holt on NBC, right, a couple of weeks prior to this happening, where he was asked directly if he was going to pursue criminal charges against Trump based on what was coming out of the January 16th investigation at the Hill. And he, implied that he's going to pursue justice so far as, excuse my mince of words, but so far as he sees it, where there is something wrong will be called out and or, indicted. So I think that he didn't. So I think that to that degree, because there is such an extremism to the culture, to Trump culture, and to the Republican base, the majority of the Republican base, that there is not anything that Democrats can do, even though they do it and do righteous due process and transparently and strategically. I think that there's such an extremism that whether you do things the right way or the wrong way, there's still going to be the bite back of what that hatred and what that vitriolic determination to, maintain the status quo of what America is going to be what it is.
Absolutely.
And so things have to be done in order, as you said, to cement what this country stands for. If the very functions of the government as they are supposed to operate will. And if they won't, then we have a problem. Civil war, in terms of what's invoked by, the cultic culture, and then Trump being held accountable to that, and whether there'll be violence because of that, whether that happens, or if we don't have Trump held accountable and he gets to run in 2024, something has to happen, right?
And let me tell you something. The system is bound to break.
Either way.
Let's keep it real. If he's allowed to even be on the ballot, and I said it before and I'll keep saying it, if he's allowed to be on the ballot, the system is going, enough has got to be enough. Something has to be said. It can't just be business as usual in this country. And I'm sorry. I'm not calling or saying that we should revolt. It shouldn't be business. The Biden administration, Department of Justice, Attorney General Merrick Garland, you got to uproot this situation. You got to deal with this. You cannot allow this thing to just let the voters decide. I'm telling you, this thing is a cancer and it's spreading fast. So we will see, because there's still parts that are being told that are being revealed. Mm-hmm. But the president said that he's not opposed to this situation, and it's going to be interesting to see how people respond to him. Let me just share with you very quickly what people are saying, and folks, it's mind-blowing. Jawan, you checked in. Jawan Yvette, you said, I'm patiently waiting for the indictments. There needs to be real accountability, or else he just becomes a martyr for his cult followers. Yeah. Janelle, you checked in. Jawan, thank you so much. Janelle, you said the idea that there's still a large contingent of folks that believe that Cheeto Jesus deserves to get away with whatever is absolutely incredible.
That's a good one, Cheeto Jesus.
Yeah. Breitbart News have released the names of the FBI agents who did the search. Let me just throw that out there. And the Department of Justice has officially informed the judge in Florida that Donald Trump does not object to this unsealing of the search warrant. So we're waiting on the judge to rule on that situation. But again, Breitbart News has officially released the names of the FBI agents who did the search. For what reason? Because they were simply doing their job. Now civil strife. You want to put the names out of the FBI agents who did the search, who were just doing their job. Look, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, this is not good.
Yeah, no, this is not good.
At all. It's not good at all, folks. Let me just say this. Let's put it in this context, Shaquille, because you and I have worked in activism for years. If they're willing to do that to a former president, what do you think they would do to any one of us who say, and I'm saying from marginalized communities that have been oppressed by the policies of this country, and we decided to rise up? What do you think? This is a sign, folks. This is an unprecedented sign. Sophia, you said the fact they are chummy with the Saudis, especially considering how racist they are, is scary. And remember when those Russian diplomats came to the White House, but there was no transcript? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's been a lot.
Steph D checked in and said Trump has right to opinions and belief. He doesn't have the right to do the things he's done, mostly related to his former role. He doesn't. But guess what? If you don't check, if you don't enforce, then it's bound to happen. And if the GOP, and if y'all living in counties and cities and states around this country that are GOP controlled, send a loud message. The first message we can send is the vote message. The second message we can send is organizing. We got to get our strategy in order. There's got to be, because I'm seeing a lot more, Shaquille, in this situation. I'm seeing a very, very real breakdown of the American political system, the democratic system, the two-party system as we currently know it. We're talking about 2024 like there is a guarantee that 2024 is going to be a smooth situation. It's not. I don't think it will be, to be honest. And I'm just not.
You're absolutely right. We're at a very, hearing moment in American history.
Yeah.
The two-party system has not effectively, really functionally to the full capacity or at its optimal capacity in terms of the two parties. The purpose of the two parties is to ensure balance and productivity for the government. For the country, right?
Yeah.
There have been lame duck Congresses because they refuse to support anything the other side has. Both Democrats and Republicans are responsible for this, right? And so really, of course, the Republicans, absolute. And then there are exceptions to when things happen, such as them being able to get through the infrastructure bill, such as them being able to recently do something about climate, about health. And that's how we're supposed to function majority of the time. But we don't. The country has been breaking down for a long time. The country has been breaking down since the very beginning. If you consider and contend that we were built on a system that only served the wealthy class, and we are continuing to contend with what that means for us as a country. And this is the definition of it, right? And so this is, I think, just for us, because we now live in a more diverse society, whereas in any other point in American history, white people have always been the majority, and they still technically are right now, but they know that they're declining. This is the final fight, because that's really what's at the root of all of these issues. And when it comes to the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, right? It's about liberalism. It's about progressivism. It's about Black. It's about white. It's about the history of what this country has stood for: racism, white supremacy versus, opportunities for all. That's really what it boils down to. And there's different.
Going to be a fight. To add to that, and then to add to that, Shaquille, it's also about classism and capitalism.
Of course. Because
if he wasn't who he was, then we wouldn't probably have gotten as far. Because he's Donald Trump, because of the classism there, because of the meritocracy that's there, because of the capitalism that's there, he's been allowed that privilege. He's been given that space to do what he wants unchecked, right? Mm-hmm. Even though all these years that you've seen him in office, or not just office, but just in business in general, there have been questions about how he gets his money, who he gets his money from. All of these questions have been looming over Donald Trump's whole political and business career.
Mm-hmm.
But yet he goes unchecked. So his case speaks to all of those different situations. And folks, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to switch gears a little bit, but I do want to make a correction. At the beginning of the show, I said 11 documents, and I want to correct myself. It was 11 sets of documents, of classified documents, 11 sets. So that means it's not just 11 pieces of paper or anything. 11 sets of highly classified documents that were recovered by the FBI in that search of former President Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. So I did want to correct myself and make that distinction. All right. All right, folks, look, we're going to see how this situation continues to unfold. But up next, as we move forward, let's talk a little bit of something about privacy, the right to privacy. I want to get Shaquaya's thoughts on the case of Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, and how she's decided to take the LA County Sheriff's Department to court because of them sharing graphic photos of her husband's death, her husband and daughter's death from that horrific helicopter accident, and how this speaks to the right of privacy. This speaks to being sensitive to one's to the wishes of a family. It's a lot. It's a lot. We'll have that conversation, and of course, we want to have that with you. So stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us this afternoon. We wanted to have a conversation about the widow of Kobe Bryant, Miss Vanessa Bryant, who has decided to take her pain and turn it into some sort of power, as she has taken filed a lawsuit against the LA County Sheriff's Department on their handling of the photos of that horrific, tragic accident that took the life of her husband, Kobe Bryant, her daughter, Gianni, and 7 other individuals. Here's the situation here, folks. And we want to share with you a little bit of what Ms. Vanessa had to say, the situation in court, because this has been an ongoing fight for the Bryants, for Vanessa, as she has been trying to, speak up on the right to privacy, and that the LA County Sheriff's Department, individuals within the department, violated the family's right to privacy, and of course, sharing sensitive photos of the crime scene from that accident. Here's what her attorney had to say, and check this out, Lakina, let's post this on there, please, brother. She said that Vanessa Bryant's attorney, Louis Lee, he told jurors in his opening statement in U.S. District Court in her invasion of privacy trial against the county that the cell phone photos shot at the crash scene, by a deputy and a fire captain were visual gossip, viewed for a laugh, and had no official purpose. They were shared by deputies playing video games, Lee said. They were shared repeatedly with people who had absolutely no reason to receive them. Now, an attorney furthermore around this case. An attorney for the county defended the taking of photos. Let me share with you what they had, what the attorney said on this. Keenan, she said, attorney for the county defended the taking of the photos as an essential tool for first responders seeking to share information when they thought they might still save lives at the chaotic, dangerous, and hard to reach crash scene in the Calabasas Hills west of Los Angeles. Site photography is essential, according to county lawyer J. Mira Hashmal in his statement. Let's bring in Shaquaya McKenzie, who is an activist, who is an educator, nonprofit organizer, and leader, to get her take on the right to privacy. Shaquaya, do you think that Vanessa Bryant has a point that this, by them sharing these photos the way they have shared them, with people who have nothing to do with this investigation, that this opened up the door for more pain to be inflicted, for her privacy to be invaded? Do you think that that she has a case here?
She absolutely has a case. I actually read many court documents related to this case because I was intrigued by the principle of privacy in this matter. One, particularly because it bites at the edge of what is declared necessary in criminal investigation and or crime scene investigation, and how information is documented in the 21st century. The use of technology, phones. We take everything with our phones, and there poses a problem with privacy because of that. And I think that there need to be guardrails established in criminal investigations in general, whether it be crime scene, anything related. There just needs to be an accountability for people to not share sensitive information. And how best do you do that? Ensure they're not using their personal devices, right? But aside from the technicality of this and my interest in like a legal sense, it's absolutely her right, and she should be pursuing this case, and she has a solid case, because the matter is that the information, the pictures that were taken related to this crime scene, or related to this crash, in which they, I guess, are countering that the importance of taking the picture was to see if they could save lives. That wasn't the matter that she's pursuing. That is not the matter she's pursuing. The pictures were shared with very random people in a very sick way, period. There are incidents with some of the police showing the pictures to bartenders when they sat at a bar drinking beer, laughing about thinking that what they saw in a burnt manner was Gianni's body. There are very sick incidents of how this picture was shared with people that absolutely weren't even close to the police department. They just so happened to be strangers because it was a picture shared and then shared over and over again. So when you get into the court documents and you realize how far the investigation went, and realizing how far the picture went, and the way in which it was shared in these very social settings, because it's a matter of celebrity, it became sick, where you're talking about looking at a picture of burnt bodies, but because it's Kobe Bryant and his daughter, it's interesting, right? And it's sick. And she has the right to pursue this case because of that. And the police department should not have, there should be something established from this case that prevents this from happening again. We wouldn't want any of our loved ones who are in an unfortunate situations, the image of that to be paraded. And that's just, that's really the moral principle of what this case boils down to too.
It is, and I think
she has a strong case.
I think it is a moral principle, and I want to, Lewis Lee, her attorney, said that learning a month after the crash about the photo circulation, not from the county, but from the LA Times, that she learned this from another publication, not from the people that were supposed to investigate the crash. Her attorney also said, and this is what he played in court, Shaquaya, he played the jurors a security video of an off-duty sheriff's deputy drinking at a bar, showing the photos to the bartender.
Exactly.
The lawyer then showed an image of the men laughing together later. Now, her attorney described firefighters looking at the phone photos 2 weeks later at an awards banquet and showed the jury an animated chart documenting their spread to nearly 30 people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is on so many levels. This is sick.
Wrong. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong. Like, you're showing.
At the very least, the people without the moral fabric to protect this type of information should not be in positions as police officers. At the very least, they have to be fired. Pensions taken. It's sick. It's sick. I mean, I think some people publicly, I've seen comments about Vanessa taking this too far and just like, what does she expect? She expects her privacy to be respected. That's what she expects. That's what anybody should expect. So I just don't think why this wouldn't be something that should advance in a legal, outcome.
So this speaks to something else that I think that we should kind of bring up, because people say, well, we need to see the bodies. And we want to take a quick pause, but when we come back, I want to get
for who take things with cameras. That's what they're for. You as a police officer protecting a scene or just arriving to the scene, use your walkie-talkie to call somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not. I don't know.
I don't get it, because and I think this is a very, very extreme case of celebrity worship. You know what I'm saying? When you have a celebrity of this nature and a tragedy of this nature, and then you're like, let me see how I can capitalize of it. Let me take videos. Let me take pictures so I can sell them to the tabloids, or so I can sell them to TMZ or something like that. And I mean, not even thinking about the humanity of this whole situation, right? It's like, and we got to talk a little bit about it, because I know that even when the Uvalde situation, when those children were shot dead, people was like, well, we need to see the photos. We need to see the photos. And it's like, why are we in a place where we have to see dead bodies?
So desensitized.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that's a big conversation. So I want to take a quick pause. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion with Shaquaya McKenzie, get her take. And of course, I want to hear from you folks. So post your comments on this. Do you think that Vanessa Bryant has a case here with this right to privacy versus the LA County Sheriff's Department? Share your thoughts with me and stay tuned. You're tuned into The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Folks, welcome to the second hour of The Culture here on the Black Star Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've been having some great conversation, talked about President Trump, and we started to talk about the latest in the case of Kobe Bryant's wife and widow, Vanessa Bryant, who is suing the who has decided to take the LA County Sheriff's Department to court for an invasion of privacy and sharing graphic private photos, crime scene photos of her husband, her daughter, and those who were killed in that horrific helicopter crash back in January the 26th of 2020. 2 years later, 2.5 years later, folks, we're looking at, Vanessa being in court. She was cried during the first day of court as she relived those moments. And most importantly, her attorney, Louis Lee, put it out there, the inhumane behavior of the LA County Sheriff's Department to take private photos, graphic photos on their own cell phones to be shown to people later on. Random people at bars, people on websites. And now they are in court to talk about the issue of privacy. I'm posing a question to you, and many of you are checking in and sharing your thoughts. Do you think she has a case? Many of you are saying, yes, she absolutely has a case. Let me just share with you what some of you have been saying, and then we want to hear again from our culture crew member, Shaquaya McKenzie, today as we look at this situation. But so many of you have been checking in and saying stuff, that this is more immoral. This is wrong. That this is another case of dirty cops mingling. Natasha Surge, I see that you said this is the third story this week that you heard of dirty cops doing crazy things. Yeah. RJ McKenzie, you said, yeah, she needs to be respected and has the right to sue those folks. RJ, you are absolutely right. Mike Green, you checked in and said, this country has produced a large portion of moralless people. Chris V, I see you. You say, I don't even like seeing pics of people on their deathbed. I know I wouldn't want to be remembered in that state if somebody was trying to take pictures of me. How about that? Chris, I'm with you on that, bro. And Carmen, I think you hit the nail on the head. This is absolutely, Carmen Collins, you checked in and said, trauma, porn, foolishness. I am so surprised how much we love to see somebody else's tragedy. Shaquaya, I got to bring you back in. I am blown away that we love trauma porn.
Again, this is why I assert very strongly and support the fact that Vanessa Bryant, and I also think incumbent upon the entire tragedy, families of the members of the other people who were on that flight and tragically passed, it's important to stand our ground on where we stand as a society and what is acceptable. This is trauma porn. And I think that we are desensitized. I think that because of the toxic culture of viral or social media sensation or viral sensation culture, there is this complete disregard for privacy, for respect, for humanity. And I think that she has really fought. You have to be able to fight. I mean, she's grieving, right? So to grieve and then fight on behalf of your family, I think she deserves recognition in that. And I applaud her because I could imagine how hard that is as someone who is in the limelight all the time and have people take for granted your very pain, trauma, tragedy. And this is a reputable figure. This is Kobe Bryant, an American superstar. So for this to be able to have happened to him is not, there has to be a line drawn. Somebody, I'm glad it's Vanessa Bryant. I'm not glad in the sense that this is a tragedy. This is horrible.
Yeah.
But you have to stand up for what's right. And I'm glad that she's doing that.
I'm glad she's doing it too, because I think it opens up the conversation for us to look at ourselves. That because we are in a country, we love violence. And these are things we can't deny, folks. We love violence. We love trauma. We love drama. We love, and I mean, and it's sad, but this is the stuff that it's like what they term clickbait. This is the stuff that gets people going. We just love conflict in some way, shape, or form.
You know, it's a part of the mainstream American culture. It's why, you know, think of how people of color were lynched and it was made postcards, right? Like we've always had this underlying sick love for, you know, death, and I'll just say it plainly, death and violence, and it's something that I think mainstream American culture and what we see through movies and media on a day-to-day basis just continue to perpetuate that. There's a great principle in this case that when it comes to real life, we have to regard that. I don't think it's going to go anywhere in American culture anytime soon, though. Yeah. And so unfortunately, it will continue to be perpetuated in real life. But instances where we can speak to virtue and hopefully hold ourselves accountable in a higher moral regard as a society, we see that, right? We'll just have to continue to do the work. And again, I'm really impressed that Vanessa Bryant and her grief and her overcoming tragedy is standing up to this situation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Janelle, you checked in on our YouTube page, and you said she may have a case, but she will not get the justice that she deserves. There's a very long history of celebrity death pics and horrible trauma photos that nobody ever gets justice for. How about that? Death pics are commodities in America. They're worth a lot of money. If you get death pics in the wrong hands of a person that just want to capitalize off of the tragedy and trauma of other people, you can get a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like the first pic that popped up in my head, Shaquia, was like the pic of Malcolm X or the pic of Dr. King when they were playing, right? The pic of Huey Newton. You know, when we think about that, the death pics of people that we look up to, that we hold people in the high esteem for, and we see that. For example, you know, they talked about the actress Anne Heche, who was in that fiery car accident last week, how she's brain dead, right? And I'm sure somebody right now in the hospital are just trying to figure out how they can get a picture. It could be from a nurse. It could be from somebody, you know, cleaning the hospital. Somebody is close to it. Take a pic, sell it. It's like human life is no longer considered to be or deemed valuable nowadays. You know what I mean? And there is a moral side to that just as much as there's a legal side to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just and it's unfortunate. And that's a part of our culture. That is a part of our culture. And somebody got to say, no, enough is enough. And I'm glad Vanessa Bryant is taking this situation to court.
Yeah. I mean, like R.J. McKenzie said in the comments, violence is American is cherry pie, right? And unfortunately, it is something that, you know, we've gotten used to. But, and I do agree with Willie Frazier, who also said, do we love it or are we conditioned to accept it, right? Just like a song you hear, you don't like it, by the 10th time you hear it, you know it and you sing it.
That's it. Yeah. That's a great point, Willie. Yeah, that's a great point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you know, I just would not want to see somebody who like Kobe Bryant and his daughter or anyone else in that state. I mean, if you look at the pictures of that helicopter crash, just the crash, the thing exploded, folks. It exploded. So why would I want to see body parts? And that goes the same thing for these national tragedies we've been hearing, Shaquia, that there was a huge conversation around the country about, in order to appeal to the Republicans, we should show the pictures of the dead bodies of the children.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely.
Why would I want to say that? Who wants to see dead bodies.
The concept of it doesn't move them. Why would the pictures?
Right.
You're just really degrading the memory of these children by trying to use their last, most vulnerable moments in the aim of trying to convince a mind that doesn't want to be convinced. You know, I think that there are a lot of suggestive upend about what should be done in manners of trying to make points. And sometimes there's just no point to be made because whoever doesn't want to receive it doesn't want to receive it. So I think that we, as you said, and regarded, you know, other high figures, we've gotten used to seeing things like that. It's never acceptable. However, and in this case, particularly because there were children involved, it's we gotta, both for the Uvalde situation and for this situation with the Bryants and all of the other children, the other players from her team that were on the plane and their parents. Why would we, you know, steep that low as a country?
Absolutely.
That's what this is about. I hope she wins.
Absolutely. Chris, you bring up a solution that I think that we may see coming out of this situation. We may not see, but I think it's an interesting thought. Chris V, you checked in and said, the only thing I could see coming from this case is some politician using this as a way to draft a bill to hold servicemen, police, firefighters, hospital workers, etc., accountable for leaking pics.
At the very least, I would hope that's a solution.
That's a possible solution. The sad part about it is that you got to even come up with a bill to tell people to respect the privacy and the humanity of other human beings. You know, if we got to get into a space, Shaquare, where we have to start to legislate human behavior, just legislate morality, legislate care, legislate empathy.
The wheels have been off. The morality wheels have been off in America from the beginning. So we do have to legislate it, unfortunately. We do. We have to legislate the fact that we should be considered human. We've got to legislate it. That's what it boils down to, and that's why voting is important. Right? I'll stress that once more time again. It is hopefully an outcome that at the very least policies within the department, the LA Sheriff's Department and or other parties that were involved, maybe the LAPD, right? Things need to change. I just personally think as it pertains, again, as I said from the beginning, the legal background of what should or could be implied from this case, if she wins, is really interesting. And it means that some things that need to be changing in the more arcane and archaic aspects of how police departments are run, or just loose, not even arcane or archaic, loose. They need to tighten up, and hopefully that would be an outcome of this.
Absolutely. Willie, you said my pushback, my brother Farajii Muhammad, is the same as Emmett Till. You may not want to see it, but we must shock the conscience of humans. Well, here's my response to you, Willie, and I understand that point. My thing is that we're not dealing with this is a new time in America, right? When we saw Emmett Till, the culture was already in a very conservative space, right? You didn't see violence as rampant as it is today. It wasn't on TV. Our children weren't exposed to it. Like, the culture was totally different back in 1955 than it is in 2022, right? Now, when you have Congress people or leadership that won't even admit to the truth, even though it's blatant. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're dealing with a whole different mentality among political officials and leadership in this country. Back in 1955, they could say, okay, yeah, that's that. Okay, you're right. Now in 2022, a joker can look at a situation and will tell you and lie to you in your face that it's not happening. And you can't even start having a conversation with a GOP person or Democrat if they can't even admit what's blatantly happening in front of them. You can't appeal to their moral sensibilities. I can't appeal like after January 6th, folks, and this is how I felt, Willie. When I heard them Republicans say that they were visitors and tourists, and now when we look at how they still are in a state of denial about everything from Trump to what's going on in this country, how can you appeal to their moral sensibilities?
There's nothing to appeal to. It's void.
At
There's
this
no
point,
moral sensibility. And as Mike V said in the comments, in a capitalist system, there is no morality. There is morality, but it's the morality that conservatives maintain is this Anglo-Saxon, evangelical, Anglo-Saxon too, but evangelical parade of what their version of morality, right? Which is conservatism. But it is, we know, based on, again, on patriarchy, white supremacy, all the things.
Right.
But I do think there is a sense of, with there being more, in capitalism, it boils down to who is in control and who has power.
Yep.
And I agree with Mike V in that sense. We have to legislate morality in this country because otherwise we are ruled by wealth. And wealth does not have a moral principle basis to it. It's just about who is in positions of power. And with the system having been set up and operating as it is, again, it would revert back to, the systems of patriarchy and white supremacy that continue to have the power. So yes, we have to legislate morality. Have to.
And see, when you get to that point where you have to legislate morality, when you get to that point where you have to encourage humanity, then we got to operate from a different place. That's all I'm saying. I would love for things. I would love for events that are happening, these things that are happening right in front of us, that are unfolding while we're living right in front of us, to have an effect on people. But it don't seem to matter.
Right.
Even before Uvalde, we were having mass shooters. Didn't seem to matter. We were, even before Kobe Bryant, you saw pictures of white people celebrating and having parties at the lynching of black people. Doesn't even matter. How much time, how much more do we need to say than say that something is wrong? You're taught right and wrong when you are a child. You mean to tell me that you need to have all of this influence? You need to be convinced. You're a grown-ass person in a position of power and leadership and influence. You need to be convinced about right and wrong?
Or even at the face of this case, what's ironic for me is that Vanessa Bryant is arguing against the misuse of these pictures, right? And she's not arguing even about the fact that they took them. Yes, at behest is like, why did they take them, right? If it was not in the interest of investigating truly, or if you all claim it so, why did it end up in this manner? And so, why did it end up playing out in this manner where 30 plus people had access that weren't related to the police department, had access to these images? But what's ironic is that the defending powers of the LA Sheriff's Department is saying we had to take these pictures, right? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
You're not breaking down how, why, the mismanagement of it. It's interesting. So I think that if that continues to be the focus, then, aside from the moral pushing, it's just the facts of how things were managed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, we got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, I want to get some final thoughts from Shaquaya as we talk about another big issue that I've been reading about, which is the balance between motherhood and career. Serena Williams is talking about is planning to retire after the U.S. Open, and it is opening the conversation back up about a woman choosing her family over her career. We'll get Shaquaya's take, and I certainly want to hear from you. So stay with us. That's the conversation and more is coming forward as we talk about those things here on The Culture, right here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing, creating, making moves that move us all forward. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Well, folks, if you did not know, tennis great Serena Williams has decided to call it quits after the U.S. Open this year. She penned a piece for the September edition of Vogue magazine, where she graces the cover with her daughter, to talk about the struggles of being a professional, high-profile tennis player and celebrity with her family. And so she said after all of these years, she's always put professional, her career first. And now she wants to move forward on choosing her family. And this has sparked a lot of conversation about a woman's right to choose family over the career. And we wanted to just get a few moments with Shaquia. She has time with us today to get her thoughts on this move. And I want to share with you what one writer from Essence, the features editor, Brooklyn White, had to say about this very quickly. Then we're going to go to Shaquia. It says that the tennis star is retiring after. Let's go back to the first quote there, Keenan and Lise, where she talks to Brooklyn. Says the idea of doing it all is fascinating, primarily because it is relegated to women who are balancing our personal and professional lives. Fatherhood is not merely as all-consuming. Furthermore, it has not truly been required to be. Mothers, on the other hand, are required and expected to give all and be all. Balancing both and taking care of yourself is a frightening plate-spinning trick. Sometimes you have to lovingly put down one of the sticks. So this is talking about the situation of being a mother and having a very, very active career. Shaquia, I know you got a few moments left with us today, so we're greatly appreciative of your time. But what do you make of Serena Williams' decision to move forward on spending time focusing on her family and to forego a very, very illustrious career as a tennis great?
One is personally striking because as a mother of a 1 and 3-year-old, now managing my own career and business, it is.
And as being aspiring to be a lawyer. You can't forget that part.
It is something. It is not easy. It is not easy. And I completely agree with her that there is inherently a responsibility more incumbent upon mothers to be more present in the child's life, especially in the most informative years, newborn to 5. And if her and her husband are considering expanding their family, I understand why she would put the stick down, if you will. She has accomplished more in a lifetime than many athletes dream, right? So even in the face of that, she deserves to be able to have that space to have her family and have peace. And, I understand maintaining her as an athlete, maintaining your body is a job within itself. So wanting to still do what you love, I can imagine. Knowing though that you want to experience having a family and you feel the responsibility necessary to be present in that is a hard decision to make. But I honor her decision. I think she's going to continue to be extremely influential in the athletic or in her in sports, in tennis, and I just know that the matter is something that most women can relate to. And, it's good for us to talk about as a society, the weight that we bear. But I think that there is some grace in her stepping away. I mean, how old is Serena Williams? Do we know how old she is?
Serena Williams is, let me check on that. That's a good question.
She's in her 30s for sure. I mean, in later
years in her 30s.
So I mean, even to be this age and still active and excelling in the sport is just amazing. So it's just like it's tough. We hate to see her leave the game, but she deserves her flowers. She's 40. Look at that. I think it's a good time. I think it's a good time to step away, especially if you want to have another child.
She's talking about having another child. Her daughter says that she wants a little sister.
Yeah.
So she's 40, and tennis is a grueling sport, like a lot of sports, right? It does a lot. It takes a lot on. It puts a lot on your body.
Yeah.
And so I agree. You know what I mean? Like if we look at those accomplishments very quickly, Keena, I know you posted them before. Let's post some of the just a little bit.
Yeah. Run down the side of
Williams. Look, she's retiring after a long career breaking boundaries and obliterating expectations. This comes from the New York Times. On her own terms, she announced her decision to retire in an article in Vogue in a way that felt unapologetically her own. She's been a beacon of Black excellence. She achieved greatness without ever masking the struggles it took to win, especially as a Black woman. Let's continue with this. The other points of that. She has a career that's on top. She has won her first Grand Slam in 1999 when she was 17 years old. Over the next 2 decades, she became the sport's most dominant force. And when it comes to her legacy, while emerging as the face of tennis, she, along with her older sister Venus, changed the face of the sport, carrying the load for the nation's aspirations. Not to say that, let's add the fact that their story has been told through King Richard, that this story is always going to be a source of inspiration for Black girls across this country and around the world. She has made her mark.
She sure has. They both have, both her and Venus.
Right. And they made a mark. You know what I'm saying?
So rightfully so. I get her point in evoking the reality that balancing motherhood and career is hard because it is. But she has done so exceptionally well at being a historic figure in the sport that she can put that racket down. And I think all of us are excited about her ability to really flourish in her family life. Getting that peace, after you've done so exceptionally well. You deserve it. You deserve that happiness.
Really quick, Shaquaya, because I know you got to jump off. But what's the point if you're making that much money? Because I know a lot of people talk about the money side. If you are given that much exposure, if you have access to that much resources, at the age of 40, it's time to shift gears and go into other things. And I know she got other business ventures she wants to do. You know what I mean? And the sky is the limit in terms of the impact that she can still make, because you still have young tennis and young Black women athletes, from Naomi Osaka to, I don't know, Simone Biles, even though they're not in the same sport, but the level of dedication, you can always kind of like recreate and redefine the sport through the next generation. So people tend to forget, like people say, well, what about her legacy? Her legacy has already been cemented.
Oh, it's she's good.
But she can do more through the next generation.
And I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will. She's an iconic figure. She's not going anywhere. She's just putting the racket down. And so that's what I'm excited about. Even to see her in new and transformative positions in her, in Hollywood, I'm sure, and media.
We know
I'm excited to see what she can do or will do.
Absolutely. We're excited to see what you're going to continue to do too, Shaquaya, because you're doing big things, sis. And you are an aspiring attorney. You are a nonprofit leader. You are an organizer. You're an activist. You're an educator. I mean, and you're a mom. And you're a mother of two beautiful children. So, we continue to support you here on The Culture, and we thank you for your time with us this afternoon.
Oh, this is family. I love being here. I'm so happy to be back. Keep it going. Keep it going. Farajii, I'm so proud of you in this
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. My sister Shaquaya McKenzie checking in as always on Fridays. Thank you, Shaquaya, for being so good for the culture, sis.
Peace and love, people.
All right, folks, let's keep the conversation going. What's your take on Serena Williams deciding to call it quits for tennis and move it and focus on her family? Post your comments. We're going to take another pause. When we come back, I'm going to get to your comments and get to your thoughts. And then I got some more stuff to share with you, especially when it comes on the side of trends, posts, and doing the most. So stay with us. A lot to get to in the final 30 of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
When we invest in ourselves, we're investing in what's next for all of us. Growing, creating, making moves that move us all forward. Together, we are Black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been talking about Serena Williams deciding to calling it quits as she penned a conversation with Vogue magazine. And Keenan and Lise, when y'all get a chance, let's see if we can pull up a picture of that cover of Vogue magazine, the September edition, to see the beautiful Serena Williams and her daughter. But in that piece, she talks about the fact that she's deciding to do this because she wants to focus on her family. And I know that is often a take that many men take sometimes, right? Men often say, I'm deciding to step down because of I want to spend more time with family. But when women takes it, it seems to be different. It seems to add to this view that women are not capable to handle high-profile, stressful careers, or that women aren't, are so maternal that they shouldn't be in the business world. A lot of madness. Let me just say that these are myths and these are a lot of madness. But I wanted to get your take on this as we talk to Shaquaya, who is a working mother, a mother who is looking to do things and as an attorney and as a nonprofit leader. What's your take on Serena Williams' decision to say she's calling it quits at the age of 40 to spend more time on her family? Post your comments on YouTube, Facebook, and on other streaming platforms so that way we can hear exactly we get directly from you. Let me just share with you what people have already started to say about Serena Williams, and I appreciate y'all for checking in. Janelle, you always got something to say, and I always enjoy your commentary. You say, Farajii, the fact that she is over 35, suffers from migraines and blood clots. There are more things that she has to think about physically when it comes to trying for more children. Facts. Absolutely. You folks, and this is not just about the woman's body, it's about all of us, right? When you're over the age of 40, your body operates differently, right? So, we can't deny that. The other part about it is that, if you have medical conditions like Serena suffers, and, you pointed out migraines, blood clots, when you have these conditions, when you're putting that extra stress and strain on your body because of because you are an athlete, it does affect you. It does affect you. And, I think of like Tiger Woods. I think of football players. I think of baseball players. I mean, yes, athletes make a lot of money. Athletes play for a short period of time throughout the year. But then at the end of the day, their bodies are always feeling something, right? They're feeling the pain from a year ago, from 6 months ago. They're feeling the strain of their profession. So, I think to your point, like that is absolutely right. That at a certain point, your body starts to slow down. And again, you got to know when to say when your body, and I taught this to my son. I said, son, learn how to listen to your body. If your body rejects certain food, don't keep eating that same food and just say, well, I'll just take some medicine, forcing the food upon your body when your body is saying, this is not good for me. And unfortunately, we live in a time where we don't learn from nature. We don't learn to listen to our bodies. We don't learn to listen to adhere to history, because we often just put ourselves through the rigors and put ourselves through so much stress. For what? That if we just listen to our bodies, if we just listen to history, if we take lessons from the things that have already happened, we can probably be a lot further along. So it's a great point that you're making, Janelle. Thank you so much. Zoe, good to hear from you, Zoe. Zoe, you said before announcing her retirement, my husband stated she needs to quit before she ruins her record. Her game has been off. She has worked hard. Now. It is time to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Right. End while you're on top, Zoe. Your husband is absolutely correct. The last major game that she just played, she lost. And it doesn't take away from anything, right? You know what I mean? Like, everybody can't be a winner. Like, everybody, can't always play and then win while you're on top. Tom Brady, I'll never forget, Tom Brady said this to Peyton Manning. If you're a football fan, he said, play until you suck. Which I think is interesting. Like, you play until you can't play, which is something that I think is in direct contradiction to this, stop playing when you're on top. Because sometimes when you're successful at your craft, when you're successful in your sport or your profession, it goes to your head like, oh, I can keep going on forever. So sometimes you need a loss to bring you down to earth and say, you know what? This may not be the one thing. You know what? I might be losing my touch here. So I agree. I definitely agree. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, man. You've been doing this for a long time, Serena. Enjoy your time with your family, with all that you have been able to gain and earn. Enjoy it. Thank you, Zoe, for checking in. Let's go to who else we got here. Willie, my man Willie, back for this conversation. You said, let's not forget that this was a young woman's sport. She flipped that logic on its head because the young black girls she's inspired. Exactly. Tennis is a hard sport to play. A lot of these sports are young men and young women's sports, right? Football, baseball, tennis, these are young people's sports, and it's okay. Like, you can't play until you're 45, or you can't play until you know what I mean? It's like hip hop. Very few people going to keep rapping until you're 55, 60 years old. Just nobody's going to, just a different connection, different set of rules. But for this, it's a young person. I think of Naomi Osaka. I think of Coco Gauff. I think of all the young sisters that are coming up behind Serena that were inspired because of Serena. This is a great move. And if she puts more emphasis on these young ladies, on these young dynamos, and say, you know what, these are the next generation. These are my young sisters, and I'm watch them be great, and really take them under their wings. Woo! Your legacy, Serena. Woo! Your legacy will be crazy. But here's the thing. I hope she doesn't get, and Willie, see if you agree with me on this or not, bro. I hope she doesn't get to that place where she feel like because she's not playing, she still won't make an impact on the sport. When everything you do, any one of us in our craft or our profession, even for myself, I think about it. I need to figure out like who are going to be the next voices, right? Who are going to be the next voices for Black media? I'm still a young man, but I'm already thinking about these things. Like, yo, I need to make sure I bring a young brother like a Jules, and you see some of the voices here on the culture crew, because I want to make sure that I want to put them in a position. No, I'm not old and decrepit, and I just don't want to get in a space where I'm thinking I'm all the way. I got it all together. It's not the case. It's certainly not the case. All right, let's go back. Let's go. RJ, you checked in. Willie, thank you, brother. I appreciate you as always. RJ, you say Serena is an example of a loving mother. She sure is. She's a beautiful woman, loving mother. She got it. She made some choices in her life. She's further along in her life. She's absolutely doing that. John Tay, thank you, RJ. John Tay Lee, you said that's her real legacy, the future Black players that she will influence and already influencing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your legacy is in those who are coming behind you. Your investment in those who are coming behind you. Sophia, thank you so much, John Tay. Sophia, you checked in and said, Jesus, what more does Serena need to prove? There's not many people with her resume, so those people can shut up. I don't think anybody's going to doubt her for that. You're 40 years old. You've broken all these records. You've made this cultural impact. I don't think anybody can say anything. Shit, half of the people that talk can't even get them out there for one game, let alone playing all these other games. Y'all, you know what I mean, Sophia. They not. Please, if you are trying to say Serena is still not a transformative player, something is absolutely wrong with you. She has taken the way Serena has taken tennis. You could put her up there with Arthur Ashe or John McEnroe. What's the other woman's name? Martina Navratilova. Like, these were the names of people when I was growing up with tennis, right? Serena Williams and Venus Williams, they took tennis to the whole new level, like Tiger Woods took golf. It's just like, whoa, and they took it with a hip hop flair. You know what I mean? They with a blackness to them. Serena's comes from I think she's from Compton, if I'm not mistaken, but she came from the hood to greatness. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Sophia. Nisa, 1971. Thank you, Sophia. Good to hear from you, sis. Nisa says Serena is the exception and has dominated her field. I'm so excited for her and her family. Best wishes to the queen. Absolutely. Really, really excited for her. Thank you, Nisa. Allison, you checked in and said Serena was a childhood phenomenon. She also has staked her claim in the overall tennis sport. She has many other ventures that she can focus on. Yeah, this is not about money, because I know a lot of us will be like, well, she got them, maybe some of them. It's not about money, folks. Once you get to a certain level, it's not about the money. It's about impact. It's about power. It's about influence. For me, if God blesses me with a gobs amount of money, it's still going to always be about impact. Impact is the best thing. It's like, well, why go through this life if you're not going to impact somebody to do something great, just to be better? It's about impact for me. Damon, my man, thank you, Allison. Damon, good to hear from you, brother. You said, I love that Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Simone Biles are the GOATs in their individual sports. Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of how you think about Tiger Woods, you can't say he hasn't transformed golf. Simone Biles. Y'all remember, this is the sister that I remember watching. I was always amazed by was the sister named Dominique Dawes. Y'all remember Dominique? Dominique Dawes was that sister. She was from the DMV. She's actually doing teaching. She's teaching the next generation of gymnasts and she's phenomenal. So before there was Simone Biles, there was like a Dominique Dawes, man. I used to love watching her. So big shout out to all of them. And Carmen, you checked in and said she will continue the legacy. Absolutely, Carmen. You're absolutely right. Shalinda, you said my late husband used to tell me that he only leave me for 2 other women, Serena Williams and Aunt B from the Andy Griffin Show. I'm going to let the online culture crew handle that. I'm not even going to respond. I'm not going to respond to that one. You had me at Serena Williams. You totally lost me at Aunt B. Thank you, Shalinda. Aunt B. Oh, okay. Chris, my man Chris. I still love when she's pissed off some white folks when she crip walked on the court. Facts. Facts. Gotta remind them. Good. Thank you so much, Chris. McCall, I was expecting you. I was waiting for you, McCall. McCall says Serena Williams, the greatest of all time in tennis. She absolutely is. She's up there. She's the she's right there on the Mount Rushmore of tennis. Mount Rushmore of tennis. Thank you, McCall. Good to hear from you. And Ferdinand, you said you got the money and now Impact, but it's about records at this point. Yeah, it's certainly about records. Yeah, it could be about records. But you know what? Records are made to be broken. Somebody's going to come out behind you. You've already made your impact. Don't stay in the game too long, longer than you need to be. Somebody's always going to come out behind you. There's no reason for you to make that type of impact. All right? Appreciate you, Ferdinand. Look, I'm still tripping off of Shalinda's comment about Aunt B. I'm really tripping off of that. How you gonna put Serena Williams in the same space as Aunt B? I never looked at Aunt B like that. Wow. There we go. All right, look, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about got something for you. I'm going to figure it out which way I want to go with these conversations. Stay with us, folks. We got a lot to do. Just got a few moments left on today's show, so stay with me. It's the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Aunt B.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
When we invest in ourselves, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
All right, folks, it's time for Trends, Posts, and Doing the Most. Your favorite segment as we talk about what's trending, what people are talking about online and on social media. All right, so my man King Keenan got the cover. Before we go to this is going to certainly trend. Hey, King Keenan, show us the cover of Vogue with our sister Serena Williams on that joint and her beautiful daughter. We're going. There we go. Woo! Hold up. Move, you got to move that, but there we go. Look at that, y'all. Look at it. Serena Williams. Fashion's new world with why everything's changing and who's behind it. And, of course, Serena's farewell. I'm terrible at goodbye. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I really like that. That's dope right there, man. That's dope. That joint is fire right there. Man, look at the daughter. Oh boy. Oh man, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Keenan, thank you so much for posting that one, man. Wow. Let me move on. I don't even want to mess up the picture. So y'all can expect to see that on newsstands everywhere. But Serena Williams is saying goodbye to tennis and hello to motherhood and family and other ventures. That is what's good. All right, folks, let's talk about what's trending right now. So this must be the time of when power brokers in the music industry has all, and some people have actually said this, that they've all come together to say, you know what, we're going to put out our albums this year. All right, so we know that Drake has put out an album. Kendrick has put out his album. Beyonce has put out her album. And guess whose album dropped today, folks? Hey, look, do we have the cover art for this artist? I don't know if it's I don't know if we can put the cover art for Meg's up there. If you did not know, hip hop artist, Houston native, Grammy Award winning Meg Thee Stallion has decided to drop her album today called Traumazine. Checked out the video to announce her album. 19 seconds of just fierceness. Now, you know, the album dropped today. Y'all know we do have a member of Meg's hotties. Iman is a huge Meg Thee Stallion fan. So on Tuesday, I'm gonna, you know, let's have the conversation. Give you a couple of days, folks, to kind of take in what Meg is putting out, right? And, you know, let's have a conversation about the impact that it has on the culture, and what you expect from this dynamic hip hop artist. All right, so this is her sophomore album, folks. Y'all remember her sophomore album. The first one was called Good News, and it produced a lot of hits from that one, a lot of hot singles. You know, she had Savage and the Savage remix, which won a Grammy for her collaboration with Beyonce, and so many other hits. So it's supposed to be fire. And I'm seeing fire. What y'all checking for Meg like that? Okay. Yeah. So y'all remember Meg's first album, Good News. A lot of people talked about it. A lot of people were bumping it. So I'm wondering, you know, do y'all have some high expectations for her album? If not, Sophia, you checked out. You sound like my wife, Sophia. Sophia said, great workout music. Yeah, Nero, she does. So she definitely works out. She goes hiking to Meg. She does have that type of music. I'm not going to take that away from her. Yep. Carmen, you said you're not interested. Carmen said, not interested. Not over here, Carmen. I hear you. Yes, Brother King Lee, you my man. And King, you said if Sister Iman gives it a thumbs up, then I will trust what Sister Iman says. You know, I'm waiting to hear what Iman has to say about this one. So, yeah. And Willie, you said what, everybody ain't broke after Beyonce's album? No. Broke how? How, Willie? We streaming nowadays. We ain't buying units. We just paying a monthly fee, bruh. Ain't nobody broke. Rashida, good to hear from you. You said Meg Thee Stallion album looks interesting, and I'm going to say it more than Beyonce's. I said, we will see. I'm going to see what the reviews are. If Meg Thee Stallion, here's the thing, folks. I know that there is a place for Meg Thee Stallion in the culture, right? And we may not always agree with how she expresses herself. I mean, you know, as a man and as a brother who is, you know, who expects more, you know, she has a place. But I always advocate that an artist show some level of growth. That's the big thing for me. Like, if you are, regardless of where where you started from, that you have shown some level of maturity and growth. That's what I want. And I think the culture deserves that and needs that. If you don't show growth in your artistry, in your expression, then if we hear the same stuff, then Nisa, you said she looks beautiful. I hope the album is fire. Yeah. We will see. We will see. It's hard putting out albums nowadays with streaming and people being so highly critical. It is absolutely hard for an artist to keep the momentum up. Meg Thee Stallion has one of the highest in terms of momentum. She brings it. She brings it. When she features on other folks' songs, she knocks it out the box. She is a serious artist. But everybody always going to say, if you can't put an album together, yeah, there we go. So that's trending right now. So we will certainly have a conversation about that. We got to talk about it here on The Culture. And I'm going to have that conversation on Tuesday with my Beyonce Beehive member, Lisa Winnie. And, of course, we're going to have it with Iman. I know Lisa's doing some work behind the scenes. Lisa, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I can't wait, Lisa. Oh, man. All right. Here's the other thing that's trending, folks. If you did not know this, here's some basketball-related news. We know that we have lost a longtime icon, pioneer in basketball, in our brother Bill Russell. And now the NBA has officially announced that all 30 teams will retire his jersey. How about that? How about that, folks? Yep, Bill Russell's number 6 will be retired in the home stadiums of all 30 NBA teams. And as a result of his contribution, his legacy, the impact that he has made on the NBA. And I'm very excited about that because, you know, we definitely need to big up all of the pioneers of the game. But the other thing about Bill Russell is that he was a man about his civil rights. He understood social justice before we even came up with the term of social justice. He always stood on making sure that there's a voice and a space for those who felt like they were voiceless, those who felt like they were not taken and being considered and marginalized. So big shout out to the NBA for at least acknowledging the greatness of our brother who has won 11 championships. I mean, more than Michael Jordan, more than Kobe, but he has never strayed away from inspiring and instilling wisdom. And to your point, let me make sure I'm seeing as Rob did that. You said he was ahead of time. I agree with you wholeheartedly. He certainly was ahead of time. He was a model basketball player because he not only was a team player, but he was a community leader. So thank you, Mr. Brother Bill Russell. There we go. All right. Also in the basketball world, let me just share this final piece as we close out the show. Did you know, let me make sure, about Michael Jordan, speaking of the great, Michael Jordan's jersey. There is news that his jersey that I think he made, and Keenan, tell me if I'm wrong about this, brother, but there is trending right now that his jersey from the 1998 finals was going on sale for $5 million. Yup, there it is. At an auction, $5 million? For a jersey? I know you sneakerheads out there, y'all probably figuring out, how do I get my hands on something like that? Yeah, $5 million, folks, for Michael Jordan's 1998 NBA final. I think that was the final, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was, if you first, let me just go back. This jersey was iconic because it was like they were on that major run for the NBA Finals. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, and Keenan and Lise, y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this, I think that was the final championship that he won with the Bulls. Yeah, that was the last championship. That was the last championship that he won with the Bulls. And that was the season. That was what was the documentary that was made, which was a hell of a documentary. If y'all didn't see that one, The Last Dance, if you didn't see that one, yeah, The Last Dance, fantastic documentary. I absolutely love watching that. I know a lot of people had talked about it and all of that, but I'm saying as a documentary, that really showed you what was going on in that final year of the Bulls reign of the NBA. So, but yeah, $5 million. Brother King Lee, you said $5 million? Hell no. Keep the sweat. Keep the sweat. Yeah, bro. I hope they cleaned it. Let me stop playing. They cleaned it. They cleaned it. $5 million for a Michael Jordan jersey. Wow. That man hasn't played ball in what? 25 years or something crazy, and he's still getting money. Crazy. All right, folks, that's what's been trending, post, and doing the most. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in for this afternoon show. I thank all of my fantastic Culture Crew members of this week and my special guest this week. I can't thank my team enough. My man King Keenan for making this production so well. Lise, thank you so much for your work on the production and being a part of the team behind the scenes and in front of the camera. I want to thank Joel and Shannon, my producers, and Ariel for making it all happen each and every day here. And I want to thank my fantastic crew of just culture analysts. Man, oh man, we enjoy having their insight and commentary. But I can't say thank you to everybody else without first thanking you for tuning in each and every day. Welcome to all of our new watchers and new followers here on the Black Star Network and the Culture. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I thank all of my online Culture Crew for the unconditional love that you've shown as we go through all of these changes and making sure that this broadcast is happening each and every day. So I thank you so much for your love and your support. Make sure y'all follow me on my social media. I changed my social media, and I want you to be friends with me at The Real Farajii. At The Real Farajii. Had to move past my other page because it's gotten all crazy. But follow me at The Real Farajii. You can find me on social media. You can find me at Farajii on Twitter as well. And let's continue to have the conversations that's most important. And of course, I can't thank you enough for your already continued support of the work that we're doing here at the Black Star Network, but we still need financial support. So let your friends and family know that they can support Black-owned media that is not afraid to state our case and tell our story. Support us right now at blackstarnetwork.com, blackstarnetwork.com, and you can support us financially. You can share our content, and most importantly, let people know that they can download this app, download the network for free on all of their devices, and continue to support Black media at its best. All right, that's going to do it for me. Stay tuned at the 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Is Roland Martin Unfiltered with Big Brother Roland Martin. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we'll talk on Monday for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Peace.